Hello, everyone. My name is Waleed, and I want to thank you for taking a little bit of your time to spend some time with me. I am the owner of a pest control company here in New York. We're based in Brooklyn, but we service the entire city. And my company, A-List Exterminator, is the most highly ranked pest control company on Google when it comes to Google searches in Brooklyn. Today, I want to do a little story time with you guys. And I love doing telling you guys stories. Sometimes I do a lot of reaction videos, but I also like to do stories to share some of the experiences that I've had with running a pest control company here in New York over the years. I want to tell you a story about an encounter that I had with someone that could have been a potential client and how off the rails this encounter with this person went. So one day I get a phone call, as I do quite often, with someone who was interested in getting pest control service from A-List Exterminator. So the gentleman calls and he is uh, describing a problem that he is having with raccoons. I can tell from the person's accent that this was a Jewish gentleman. He sounded very Jewish. He had a very New York Jewish accent. And he describes his problem. He had a problem with raccoons. And so I told him the service that we offered. I told him how much it would cost him to have uh, the removal of raccoons done at his property. Apparently, the raccoons were getting into the upper parts of his property. They found a way in to get area them removed. I gave him a price, and he was like, "Oh my God, is there any way that you can do better on the price?" And I was like, "No, sir. What we do, we come, we would set the cages, we would bait the cages, and we would take the raccoons away as we catch them, and we would reset the cages and continue this process until we are sure that we have gotten rid of all of the raccoons that are tormenting you." He was like, "Oh, uh, I'm a senior citizen. Any senior citizen discounts?" I was like, "No, sir, no senior citizen discounts. We do the same service for senior citizens as we do for any other citizens." Ah, any first time customer discounts? I'm like, "Sir, you're not getting it. There are no discounts for this service." And this seemed to really get this gentleman very highly uh, agitated and confrontational. He started to tell me, you really should, this is bad customer service. And I'm like, "How am I giving you bad customer service? You're asking me what my prices are. I'm telling you what my prices are. I'm telling you what my service is. And I'm telling you that there are no discounts. I don't know how to better explain myself. I'm not, He was like, "No, well, you need to learn how to work with your customers and work with people's budgets. I think you're very your service is very, you're not willing to work with people, and I'm going to report you to Google." And I'm like, "Report what? What are you talking about, sir? Listen, I'm not, I told you what my services are. If you can't handle the prices, you can't deal with it. And I don't know what to tell you, sir. I guess that you can just always, you don't have to fight with me. You can call another exterminator and see if someone can work at the budget or whatever amount of money you want to spend. You can find someone else who's willing to work with you. But I gave you my prices. That's what I charge And if you don't like that, I'm sorry, you can go on to another exterminator. So we hung up. And then I would say maybe a few days later, um, I happened to be checking my Google listings, which I quite often do, and I noticed this really nasty review. And it turned out it was this particular gentleman that I had spoken with uh, a few days earlier. And apparently, he was so unhappy that I wasn't going to um, negotiate prices with him, that he took this as an opportunity to get back at me, or to punish me for not working with him and adjusting my prices for him. So he wrote a nasty review, and he was saying, oh, don't hire this company, A-list exterminator, because they just catch these um, they catch these raccoons, and they're supposed to kill them, but instead of killing them, they're just catching the raccoons and releasing them in other places, so that the raccoons could become other people can call them. They're not operating fairly, and they're taking raccoons from one place and leaving them in other places so that they can become a problem for someone else and hopefully call them. You know, and so I was like, wow. I and fortunately, I was able to contact Google and uh, um, and dispute this particular review. And after communicating with Google and disputing the review and telling them why this review wasn't valid, eventually Google took the review down, because the review that the person gave, this malicious review, was obviously not uh, the review of a customer who actually had service from us. He was just describing us as being a company that catches raccoons and removes them from one place and puts them someplace else. He wasn't describing a service that he got from us. He wasn't describing being. He wasn't